Yeah, baby, it stay live. Wait, that's how it's supposed to... Yeah, how do you know that's me? It on my face? Oh my gosh. I put my face in that camera and said, do you want to tag Krishan Hutchinson in this video? Oh no, we're going to tag Amani. Yeah, we're going to tag Krishan too.
Yeah, you all in there.
Oh, I did say it on live. Huh? Wait.
Technical difficulties. What you looking for?
I grabbed my charger, took my phone over there, and nothing about it.
Look how you act, Justin. This ain't working. It's a dud.
Is it the cause? You think it's down here?
It might be the tips though.
Mm,
I was having a hard time last time.
yeah.
Is this loose now?
I just opened it.
It at least be bubbling from.
So what's something going on in here? Down here?
You think so?
Or right here?
Oh, it might be in.
I'm asking because you think what the call did?
It's not even pulling. You on a whole photo shoot right now? Just a second, you guys. We're trying to get the right. Yeah, we're live. Is it letting you pull?
I mean, yeah, is there too much water? You don't look like it.
No. You pull it?
I don't think the calls are lit like they should be. In all actuality. So.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. Technical difficulties, you guys.
I think that I should just got new calls instead of grabbing them old calls. Because new calls
Did you really just grab?
Because they were still sitting on here. And you know, I was
Don't you
thinking.
hate when people try to be cheap and resourceful? It
Right.
never works.
It sure don't. No.
Never works. How old were those calls?
7 days.
7. Mary Jane? You and Jane, 7 days out here?
Monday. Yeah, that's my grandma's name right there. We'll be back.
We get started, you guys, in just a second. I
You probably
promise.
like some of
Just
the
a
league in
second.
the middle of this.
Okay. What's up? You and me. What's up, you guys? Welcome to According to Who. I am your girl D, and to my right, okay, all right, okay, and to my left, Kiara. All right, they taking cues from each other today. I don't have to call nobody's name, none of that. So, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great.
I'm alive and above ground, so I guess I'm blessed and highly favored.
That's real colorful. I like that.
Real Negro spiritual, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't mad at it.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy
Happy
Juneteenth.
birthday, Juneteenth, everybody.
Did everybody celebrate Juneteenth?
Shawty.
What'd you do?
Shawty.
What'd you do?
Drink.
What did you drink? Hopefully it was black owned. What? Ooh, you really did celebrate. What'd you do?
Girl, I had to work.
You got
I
off.
had to work.
So what'd you do?
But I can celebrate tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna start taking that day off.
I know we should.
Mm-hmm.
We celebrate everything else. Like, why we not celebrating?
Why don't we celebrate the day the Emancipation Proclamation was signed?
Because people don't really know the day that they don't even know what Juneteenth is. A lot of people don't, because they don't teach it.
For those of you who don't know what Juneteenth is, it was when Texas, it was announced to Texas that the slaves had been freed 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed.
2.5. So when they celebrate on July 4th, we had to wait 2 more years before we could actually celebrate. Yeah,
Exactly.
that part.
So crazy.
It's beyond crazy. Can you guys hear us fine? I hope so. But we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I'm glad you guys had a great week. Well, great weekend celebration for Juneteenth. Mine was like, I didn't do nothing. I was just hoping y'all had did something so we could at least be a black pod. But we're gonna get right into it. So, we start with our game. Questions you've never been asked before. Are non-white people equipped to survive in corporate America? This is a question we're gonna beat to death. But
I had this conversation with a lift rider of mine today. Corporate America is constantly changing. I think it depends on what kind of company you work for and how long that company's been around. And then what's the dynamic of that company. So if you're with a company that is mostly white, I feel like we're gonna have the hardest time assimilating to that culture because it's nothing like what we're used to. And we're always gonna feel like we're faking the funk and we're not really being ourselves. But I feel like if we are at a more liberated new company, for example, Apple or take like Google, stuff like that. Well, I know people who work with those companies. So from their experiences, they're nothing like mine. These people play ping pong at work. They drink at work. It's different. It's a more relaxed environment. It's not as blue tie.
I feel like even with that being said, you still have to be on your P's and Q's because people are always going to watch you and they're always going to look at you a certain way, different from our white counterparts. So we have to be mindful of that because I feel like we have to work just as hard, and if not harder.
I think we always have to work hard. I feel like we in Priuses and they in Maseratis, baby. We pressing the gas pedal the same, we ain't getting the same distance.
Right.
So,
they both
and we not going as fast as they are.
I had this thought because I was talking to these white people, and very nice. But I mentioned to them that I don't play the game well, and they said, "Yeah, I play fairly well." So they are aware that there's a game being played, but I just think we'll never be equipped, or it'll never be possible for us to play the game.
So do they feel like we playing the same game?
They know we're not playing the game. That's why we lose.
I was watching a clip on Facebook about this news anchor, and she just started wearing her natural hair out, and it was such a big thing. Yeah, she had a whole interview on this thing, and it's like, dang, just for you to wear your natural hair, like that's an issue that we have in 2019.
Well, I don't think it's an issue.
It's in the position in which she's in.
That's not how she presented herself initially.
She wouldn't have got it.
Yeah.
She may have not been in the position, or she may have not had the opportunity to transition. Hell, not even get the position with her hair looking like that. But because the audience is kind of like acclimated to who she is, and they're kind of used to her face, it's just going to be a topic. Like, oh, you changed your hair. She was able to play the game. Get in there and look the part. When you get there, when you get comfortable enough and you have a little leverage, change it. That's how you play the game. We don't want to compromise because most of the time we're entering jobs that are just a means to an end. It's not something you really care about. It's just paying your bills. So you're not willing to compromise for that. You can't compromise on compromise. That's too much compromising.
That's the word.
I love it.
Yeah, that's just really hard. But just culturally, we're so different. I see like we have meetings and they'll ask the one black guy, they'll ask him, do you have anything to add to the meeting? And he'll say, no, I'm good, thanks. And that tickles the hell out of me. And nobody understands why I'm laughing. I'm like, because culturally, that was such shade. That was so rude. But you don't get it. You just think he was being polite.
He was
Yeah.
annoying. He was very irritating.
Annoying with your head. So culturally, there are different cues. Their stuff, we don't get. We just feel. We don't get all of their shade, but their shade being thrown is just, we receive it differently. And I think that's because we're looking at it from a different
But you know-
perspective.
I think I disagree slightly there. I feel like we know when they being shady and we know when we being shady, but they only know when they being shady. They don't know how to take us and they don't know what we mean. And I think that's why we're so intimidated. I think because they don't understand us.
No, I think they have a shit. I mean, shoot, they they spend a whole lot of money understanding us. They watch us.
I think that them assessment test, them only be for black folks. I ain't never heard a white person ever say they took an assessment to get a job. I've never heard them say, well, you know, that test is just too long. I don't think they gotta take this. I think they know who we are when we apply.
You think so?
I'm sure. I think that's why the assessment come after they ask you the voluntary, what's your demographic. When they ask you if you're black, African, American, Asian, Pacific Islander, and then they ask
What
you
the hell is
Hispanic,
that? What is that?
Hawaiian,
That's American.
Pacific Islander.
Get out of here.
If you from an island, I think Guam. Because you Asian, but you're not Asian.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've never understood what that part was for though. Like why is there a need to know ethnicity? Like why do you need to know?
Because they need to know if you can be the token that they need.
And I want somebody to try to answer that question and say they white and tell me if you get an assessment after.
Please try that. I want to know. Because I've never done it.
If you don't get look, if this is true, y'all heard it here. Y'all don't see me again.
That assessment is legit like an hour long. Of repetitive questions of them trying to trick you into telling them something other than what we've been trained to do. On text, we're trained to tell you what you want to hear. On the assessment, they're trying to get your true feelings, so they ask you the same question over in various different ways.
Oh my gosh. I just took one for a company. I applied for a job at BCO. Doing what I do now but in the field. And I had to take this test. And they asked me the same question like 3 times.
Just different ways.
And then asked me the same exact question.
Because they want to know if
If
you're
you're lying.
If I'm paying attention.
If you're paying attention, if you're gonna have the same answer. Because if you're lying, it's gonna be hard to keep up with
That's
the
what
class.
I'm saying. White people don't ever have to go back. That's how I know that's for us.
Well, they used to give you scenarios, but what they learned in giving you scenarios is that most people tell me what I want to hear, so therefore I'm not getting a true authentic answer.
Right.
So what they do now is they ask if it's most likely or like mostly agree, disagree, neutral or blase blase. Then they take an average of similar questions to find out where you fall in relation to what they're actually trying to find out about.
Right.
Yeah, so they got a little slick with it, but that comes from studying our responses. They know that we're trained to come in there defensive, not defensive as in like rude, but defensive as in we're protecting ourselves when we walk in there.
Right.
They know we're not being vulnerable, and what I'm trying to figure out is I can't do it now because once you mess up when you first get in there, you present yourself one way, you can't really change that.
Right.
So I don't even know if I'd be in corporate America, but if I do get another job in corporate America, I want to go in and just be completely honest.
Yeah.
And not hold back and not reserve my comments so that they can get an accurate depiction of who I am. I want to go into corporate America and deliver myself like I'm one of them. I'm comfortable here.
I like watching Blackish and seeing the dad when he go to work, he's so comfortable and he just say whatever he feels. And I just love that. And it's so hard for us to do that. Like, I know it's TV versus reality, but...
Well, is it in his company?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
But I don't know if it's hard for us to do that, or we just feel as if, or have we been trained to do that? Because in the South, growing up in the South, and you grew up in the North, so it's a bit different. But growing up in the South, we're conditioned when you're in school, you learn that okay, the way I truly feel, I really shouldn't express that because then I don't get what I want.
Right.
So you carry that conditioning on into other places,
And it's
assuming
natural.
that you're going to get the exact same result. Because I don't think any of us have actually ever tried to go into a job and just be completely who we are.
Yeah.
Because we've been conditioned that won't work.
Another thing for me is like I haven't met too many people in corporate America, so I don't know what it's like other than what I see on TV. So I'm thinking when I go in there, I need to act this way, I need to dress this way because that's what I'm seeing.
You know what? Let me tell you something about corporate America. I just got a call from one of my coworkers who's a little older, but she's from up north too. And it's different. It's a different climate working in corporate America in the South as well, because it's just like you being around your Southern black parents. They don't want to know how you feel and what you gotta say. They ask you these questions now because these are questions that are used. These kinds of things now are used to rate a company. Back in the day, they didn't ask or care about what was the work environment like. It's a good company to work for. No. How much do they pay? What benefits do they offer? Those are the questions that they used to ask before. Now they want to know, well, how do you feel? Do they care about the employees and things like that? So now they have to come off. Like at my job, I have to do a survey every month. It's called a barometer survey, and they try to ask you how you feel, but they don't care. They have to do it.
Well, it's something that they do, and I need to go look into it because I think they get a certain tax write-off by being culturally responsible. Because we do something called a Dennison survey. I'm pretty sure it's similar to yours, where they ask you things about the culture of your work environment, and they want you to be completely honest, and they're supposed to be anonymous. And they rate you against other companies that are comparable to the one that you actually work at. And they come up with this scale. They tell you your scores, and they tell the company basically what they need to fix. And what I've seen is most companies just throw someone from up north down here. They don't necessarily ever really fix the culture. They just assume if it's not a Southern person running Southern people, then the problem will be over. It never works because the head is not always the problem, because most of the time, the higher you go up, the less people you have to interact with and deal with. So you don't deal with the actual core. You may be interacting with maybe 10 to 15 people at the most, and y'all jobs are completely unrelated.
Right. But my manager's manager, he comes every few months, right? They put me and they assigned me to do the specialty project. He came to me because I know y'all know me. I know higher ups at my job because I converse. People know me. They know my personality. So he comes to me, hey, I know you doing such and such. How is it? I started to just sugarcoat. I'm like, he says, alright. He's like, yeah. But then as he asks, he's probing. He's asking more questions, trying to figure out what's. So I'm like, he's like, so how's it called? And I just was flat out saying, like, this is not what I thought it was. This is what I'm doing. This is, explaining what it is. And when you start explaining that's what we needed to know. We wanted to put you here so we could figure that out. That's not how y'all displayed it. Y'all said, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is the development opportunity. Such and such and such. And then the more you express certain things, they kind of like, they want you to, they ask you questions to see how you feel, but then they tell you that how you feel is not how you should feel.
They devalue your feelings about it based on their need.
Yeah, asked my coworker, said, well, how's everything going? She's like busy. Just busy. Well, it shouldn't be, because things went down, but it still is. You know what I'm saying? Why ask me a question to an answer that you want to know, but you don't like my answer? Don't ask me.
It's very true.
I think sometimes they just be wanting conversation because
they're studying.
Well, like certain individuals in my job, they'll come and talk to you, and you can say you're having this issue or whatever, and they'll say the same answer they told him, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, you'll get through it, it's okay, like, it is what it is. It's like, why did you come to me and ask me this question if you really didn't care?
Right.
I think they know. They just want to make sure that they know and try to offer you some sort of comfort or acknowledgement. They really feel like acknowledging our grievances helps. We don't give a damn about that.
Right.
We don't need your acknowledgement. We don't need a pat on the back. We know we did something good. Me personally, I don't need to be told what I did good.
I like hearing it. I know I did good, but I also like hearing it too, though.
I prefer you tell me what the fuck you don't like, because that's the only thing that's going to get me up out of here.
I feel like it comes to. I feel like sometimes in the beginning, when you're still in the beginning stage, you think you might like the job. What is the new environment? I think I might like this. And they say, oh, well, you're catching on fast. You're learning something.
I hate that.
I just feel like, in the beginning, it's like, okay. But after a while, when you realize that, what you're doing doesn't even take much effort, and you making it seem like I'm doing more than what I need to be doing. It's either intimidating me, telling me that you didn't think I could do this job well, or insulting me, making me feel like you didn't think I could do this job well, or now I'm looking at you crazy because you think that this is a lot of work, and if you think this is a lot of work, then I think that you shouldn't be above me.
But that's the thing. That's what it is. I'm not even going to blame them for it. We take positions because we really don't know what we qualify for. Because they treat us as if what we have and what we're equipped with is just average. When they know full and well after one conversation with you that you're way more advanced than they thought you were. From in the interview, they are fully aware of what you'll be capable of. That's why they hired you. And what they did was they installed you. They like to install us. And they place us into these positions where they know we're going to catch on and they know we're going to get bored. But they try to comfort you by appeasing you with small stuff. Like, I'm going to give you this little task to do here. Just something to like make you feel like you're growing, but in actuality they have no intention of promoting you because they promote the person whose job you do in addition to yours.
And and that's so crazy. That's exactly what happened. It's happening to me. Like everything that you just described is happening to me. They were so surprised that I knew my job before I got out of training. When I got out of training, I did so well. And the questions that I did ask were things that were not covered in training, like situational. Because I work a task kind of job, so nothing is the same, but it's like you're doing tasks every day, but nothing is the same. So I called him fast. I was doing this consistent. I'm bored. I'm talking. My first one-on-one. I said, "You said what you want to talk about? Development. How am I gonna get promoted? That's the first one-on-one. That's what we're talking about."
But then they call us impatient.
They said, "Yeah, that's it." They said, "Well, you need to wait such and such time, such and such time." Because it took them this long. It took them that long because it took them that long to learn what they were doing. It didn't take me that long to learn what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you apply for all these promotions, but they're the ones that's not allowing you to leave. You know what I'm saying?
No. I don't think they're not. I think we're not allowing ourselves to leave because we don't feel like we have any other option. The power is in leaving because once you put your 2 weeks notice in, if they really want to keep you,
promotion leave. Like, go to another department.
They're not supporting that. You gotta leave. Like, you gotta leave.
Yeah.
You literally have to leave. You can get promoted within that department, maybe a lateral promotion where they're still above you. But if you do anything where you're trying to exceed them to the point where they won't have control over what you're doing at work anymore, they're trying to throw shit at you. They're trying to pull anything up. Well, you did this back when you first got hired. You made this mistake. We talking about something I did 2 years ago? You just found it out? Conveniently, when I'm about to get promoted? What happened to this 2 years ago? You were talking about it now? I don't remember that. I don't even remember that.
Well, my job kind of opposite. Like, it's a young company. Like, everybody probably like in their 30s or below. The higher ups, all of them are like, older white men. and they're the ones making all the decisions. But you can grow within the company, but it's just
You won't get too close to them?
It's a ceiling.
I feel like
Yeah.
they hire young people that it's like, you know, you don't know what to do. So you have to like figure it out on your own. You don't really have anyone to train you or anything like that. So it's kind of harder to grow within the company.
Okay.
I see that. And it's just, because then it's like, then they feel like you're not succeeding, but you're not given the tools to succeed.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So it's like, well, you could have did this, you could have that. Well, I didn't know to do this and that.
Exactly.
There's no like a lot of companies now, the thing is mentorship. You can get a mentor, someone who's been with the company, who's tenured, you know. Let them be your mentor. Let them show you how to navigate through this job and how to get to where they are. A lot of places don't have that. And I feel like training everywhere is messed up, and they're always trying to change and evolve and change how they train people. And it's just the same output every time. No one is satisfied with their training. And I've watched that happen. I've seen 3 waves come out after me, and they all did something different. And neither of them was satisfied. They kept changing it and doing what the last wave said that they wanted. But then you have to understand, these are different types of people every time, and they have different ways in which they learn. So, I mean, I feel like there should be a training equipped for each person. From when you do these personality tests, you should be wanting to see how these people learn and learn how you need to separate them from their learning for training.
That's interesting that you say that, because I feel like it's about to be a big wave that's going to come through with all of this automation, this artificial intelligence that's about to take place, because it's going to replace a lot of people's jobs, and it's going to force us to have to look at more soft skills, which have been devalued because everything is about production. Well, what do you do about production when you don't need people to manage? You don't have to manage people anymore. Now you have to manage feeling and emotion. And that is when, you know, a lot of people say we're moving into more of a woman's world. I think that's moving into more of a feeling world, a more sense of humanity, and out of just you a robot. Because what happens is a lot of us millennials, especially college grads, we get sold the dream that going to college will equip you with the tools that are needed in order for you to get a good job. And then you go to apply and you realize, wait, now they want experience. And then you get into the job and you realize the people who have the jobs don't have the experience, but they required you to have this degree. And then you get in the interview and they tell you, oh, well, you know, a degree doesn't really mean you're capable of doing the job. No, but that degree tells you that I'm capable of doing the job way more efficiently than what you're used to. Which means the job that it took you 10 years ago, the person who's been sitting in an entry-level job for 10 years, you know that I'm going to come in and learn this job within 90 days and be operating at a faster rate than them. And they act as if that's not true when it happens over and over again. They continue to make it seem as if these degrees aren't valuable, but they do teach them that we have the ability, like you said, to learn. And that's not something that everybody has the ability to do at the rate in which we do it.
Exactly.
And they don't
That's
want to
why
pay
they're
for
still
it.
in that position for such and such.
But they don't want to pay for it. That's what frustrates me. They try to act as if it doesn't count. If you pay somebody $15 an hour, why do you care if they have a degree?
And that's the thing. Why all these bachelor's degrees preferred? You see, if I see bachelor's degree preferred one more time for a job that's less than $40,000, I'm like, no. First of all, that's another issue. And I've seen some that even say bachelor's degree required.
Under 40?
Yes.
They know we got student loans.
That is so crazy to me.
No, but that's what's out there.
It's
That is
ridiculous.
exactly what is out there, and nobody's really addressing it.
And then you look at like, you know, all the bills that you have, and then you got student loans, all this stuff, and they want to pay you $40,000.
You poor.
Your rent about $1,400. Like what?
Literally.
Y'all done took my whole
First
check.
of
Like,
all,
what?
rent is constant. Rent and salaries are inversely proportional. Rent is constantly going up.
Yeah.
Salaries constantly.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, this is not working.
We poor. We go to work for money. That's
You know what it is? I feel like we work and we have nothing to show for it.
No.
Like literally, all the money that you're getting is going out to pay bills and take care of stuff that you need to take care of. But it's so hard to say. And I might be speaking for myself, but it's so hard for me to say.
No, and
then still have a life.
Even a bigger issue with these jobs now that are offered to middle class people with bachelor's degrees, $37,000 a year. With what it is, if we can't purchase a home with that, if you can't purchase a home with it, then it is not acceptable for you to offer that for anyone. You know what I'm saying? That has a degree. I honestly feel like there should be no salary corporate job out there that does not equip someone to buy a home in that same place in which that office is located.
That's not that part.
Yeah, with the
location.
The location, yeah. If we're here, the office is here. If your median salary cannot qualify me for a mortgage to purchase a home in this area, you're underpaying me.
Drastically.
But another thing is what we're accepting.
That's
No one's telling us to take these jobs for low pay. It's also what we're accepting. But I feel like at the same time, living in Atlanta, it's so much harder because there's so much competition out here. Everybody has a degree. Everybody done did the same jobs that you've done. Like, it's so much competition out here. So it's what we're accepting, really and truly. Like, if we don't feel like, they paying us enough, we need to find something better. We need to move on.
Or leave Atlanta, I'm okay with that. Bye, y'all.
Well, we spent 30 minutes on that. Okay. I think that was a good question. I didn't know it was going to be that long, but I guess we all hit our job. Oh. You got to tell me about that. What have you been taught about mental health?
Nothing
At all.
at all. Mental health is not a topic of conversation in a black household. It is not.
Not anywhere.
No offense. No.
It's not a topic of conversation in any black household. They just say, oh, that's just such and such.
You got a temper problem.
Yeah, he ain't depressed.
He don't talk. He don't like to talk. You gotta get comfortable around.
He just
He don't talk to you.
Yeah, he hyperactive. Oh, he don't talk much. What?
There ain't nobody that just don't talk.
He don't
Yeah.
talk much.
They don't talk to your mama, daddy.
He don't talk at all? Like to nobody?
Girl, don't bring them no pets.
Oh, he just be talking to stuff in the air. Don't pay him no attention. He got imaginary friends.
That's what he like to do.
I think that now, if you got imaginary friends, especially in this day and technology, take your son to the hospital now, okay?
Because you can have fake friends online.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have fake real friends online.
Or call the pastor, a priest, and tell him.
That's the reason we don't have no mental health conversations. Everybody calling the pastor.
No, if your child is talking to somebody nowadays, you need to call a priest and you need to call a church. You got mental health issues, you got spirit. One or the other, okay?
Okay, so we agree we can talk nothing. This is an interesting one because I love hearing responses. Should we grieve and comfort the family of the murderer?
It depends on what side you're on. Is it somebody that murdered somebody in your family, or is it a friend and their cousin did something and they're just having a hard time?
Well, let me say why. Give you a few scenarios. So sometimes, some people, I pray for them. I do. I still pray for them because some people, when they do murder, other people, they're either seeking vengeance for something that the person that they murdered did. Someone in that they're in relations to. And they never accepted that or they never forgave. So I pray for them and pray for their soul. Or people have mental health issues and they don't have it all. So sometimes we say, we like to use age and the fact that people are adults for kind of discriminating against them or saying why that they should not have done something. Why we're judging them on why they should not have done something. But we're learning this time and time again that age has nothing to do with mental capacity. You can be 34 years old with a 10-year-old's mind. You know what I'm saying? And you can't fully understand or fully think enough to make decisions or know what the consequences are for the actions in which you just made. You're acting off of emotion. You're not putting any logic behind your actions. And we need to stop. We give them so much. I feel like our expectations for people who are adults are too high.
But then we have to define adults. But I'm glad you said that age is a big factor. Because I was listening to an interview with Mano. And he was basically saying it's a crime to give a 16-year-old 20 to 30 years for a decision they made at 16. And then expect them to be able to be an upstanding citizen when they get out of jail. He said he pointed out something that I never even thought about. He said if you go to jail at 16, when you get out, you're still 16.
Yeah.
You have no real life experiences.
Right.
Period.
All you know is jail.
Yeah, he said when he got out of jail, he didn't even know what it was to take a girl on a date. Because he had never been on one. Because he went to jail when he was 16. And I said, we don't really take that into account when we think about people getting out of jail. They went to jail at 16, they did all this time, and they get out and they're 40. But they're being perceived as if they're actually 40. And nobody's taking into account that, they never paid a bill before.
Yeah.
So how in the world do you expect them to know how to pay bills? They don't know what it means to get up by themselves and go do something. They're still living like they're 16. Last time they were out in the world allowed them to experience it carefree.
And there's so much change in the course of a year by itself. So imagine being locked up that whole time for 20 or whatever amount of years, and you come out and you got all this technology. You're so far behind. It's like, how do you operate like that?
I wouldn't even say the technology is the big thing, but can you imagine being 40 years old and not knowing how to apply for a job? And having to humble yourself to ask someone to show you how to apply for a job.
Yeah.
You run the risk of being embarrassed. It's just a lot that goes into it. I think it's kind of cruel and unusual punishment for an individual to have to experience, especially coming out of something that's also a traumatic experience. It forces them to choose that again.
Right.
So that was my take on that. But we've had too many questions. We spent too much time on that first topic. So we're gonna just jump right into the topic. Does anyone own their own story?
Right.
Do you own your story? Do you feel like you own your life story?
If you want to look at it as far as decision making, absolutely. I make all of my decisions. Sometimes I let the things that influence my decisions should not sometimes, but I make them all, So I have control over the narrative of my life, Which direction it's heading is based on the actions in which I chose to do. Because we all have choices.
Yeah.
Some of us, I'm not going to say that. Some of us don't. Most of us have choices.
That's fair.
Okay, what do you think?
I agree with that. Like, I feel like coming into my adulthood, I had so many different options, but every decision that I made was ultimately mine. And like to sit there and just kind of like be mad about everything that didn't go my way or be disappointed, like I would never get anywhere. So you have to accept whatever mistakes or anything that you did right and just move on. That's how you grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how would you feel if someone decided to tell your story for you? That's what I mean by do you own your story? Do you own the rights to tell and narrate your own story?
I would say, yeah, because I know how you know.
Yeah, but your life requires experience, and your experiences are shared.
Right. So then, okay, so I want to say no one does. You know why I say no one does? The majority of people don't. Is it the wrong side? It could be this one. No, it could be this one. Same shit. all these people feel like a lot of it, every biopic pick, every movie that has been made without the influence of the person that's been made about, they always feel like, well, that's not how I was at that age, or that wasn't me. That's not how this played out. You know, we always see that. Lil Kim felt like Notori wasn't her. We won't get into that into too much depth.
Mm-hmm.
But what's her name? Before she died,
Oh.
at last,
Etta James.
Etta James felt like
So
Beyonce
it didn't
didn't do a good
portrayal.
job. I don't think Etta James did a good job. But you know, that's that on that. But you know. So I don't think, but I think that no one owns the rights to this story because anybody can tell this story. It just won't be from the viewpoints in which you had it. You know, it won't be 100% authentic.
I don't want no one telling my story. Like, you wasn't there, you don't know how I felt.
Not
Don't-
necessarily.
I'm going off of me. You don't know my story, you wasn't there, so you can't necessarily, like, tell me how my story was, or I don't feel like that's your place. Period.
But in telling your story yourself, you'll also end up telling someone else's story.
Yes.
So therefore, you leave room, in my opinion, you have to leave room and let go of the actual story.
Yeah, I
So
see
this-
that, but it's like, I see that, but it's like, okay, my story is my story. You can have your input to it. You can say little things, but you can't tell my whole story.
I said what I said, and it ain't changing over here.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
yes, I agree with Niche. I agree with Niche because, like they say, you're the bad guy or you're the enemy in somebody's story. You know what I'm saying? Because at some points in your life, with certain things that you've been through with certain people, you guys see it completely different. You guys didn't understand it the same, same way. So with the whole, we can use Biggie in Kim's situation with the mom. The Biggie mama said Kim wasn't up to jump off. That's that.
That's what you said?
Yeah, but in Kim's experience, from her knowing Biggie, it was never that. It was always something a lot more intimate. You know what I'm saying? So if both of them made a story that included each other, because they'll be probably including Biggie in there in his life,
Yeah.
it's going to be shown in two different ways.
Yeah, of course.
His mom said that?
Pretty much.
She don't say her name?
Up until now. I mean, they both were at the naming of Christopher Wallace's way, but I don't think it was like a type thing.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's a little too much. I feel like that's unnecessary. So, in my opinion, none of us own our stories. You really need to let it go. Let go of the idea and the concept of owning your story because we share our stories with so many other people. That is just a shared experience, and my truth may not necessarily be yours because our experiences and our perceptions of the same situation can be completely different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when someone's telling your story, do you take into account when you're telling your story, will you take into account how it'll make someone else feel?
Absolutely not.
Why not? Why not?
It's not about you, boo. It's about me. I feel like at the end of the day, I don't care about how.
This shit is a struggle. This shit is a real
I'm sitting
struggle.
here like I'm buying another hookah.
I should have just brought mine. I don't know why I just brought you the tip. Bree was like, you're not gonna bring it, but yeah. So, what were you about to say before I cut you off?
At the end of the day, this is. I feel like everybody has an opinion and anything like that. How I viewed it is how I viewed it, and if you are going to get upset about how I view things, then you need to grow up. You need to mature a little bit because I'm not going to come at you and say, well, this isn't what happened. It's what happened in your eyes. I can't tell you what you saw and how you felt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we need to stop thinking that we can do that for other people because you can't. You know what I'm saying? You thought I was the enemy. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's how you felt.
Yeah.
I don't want to act as if the way you felt is not true, but it just wasn't my experience.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're open to the concept that sometimes we see things differently
Mm-hmm.
and we experience things differently. people tell about you?
That they don't tell about me.
That they will tell about you? Like what types of stories?
You know how beautiful of a soul I am. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, you know,
Shit.
I'm being
No,
for real.
yes, like-
Because if anybody know me, they like, they love me. They love me. You know, I don't have any haters. You know what I'm saying? Because the energy that I bring all the time. You know what I'm saying? I bring the energy. I turn a gray room blue. You know what I'm saying?
Who said that?
I don't know. But I change the color in the room, you know what I'm saying? I bring sunshine into the place. If anybody say anything about me, talk about how I can definitely, I bring sunshine. You know, I open the blind.
I like her. I like that.
That's cool. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all. Okay. So we're gonna get right into our relationship break. Cause our topic kind of became something else. We got to do better. We be rambling and shit. But we're gonna get right into our relationship break. We have 2 questions. We're gonna start with yours, and then Bernica left us a question. You want to do yours first or hers?
Let's do Bernica.
Okay, hold on. I know I screenshot. Oh, it's my phone. Why does my mom keep calling me? Don't she see I'm alive?
Hey, Bernica.
That's right, you know Bernica. Yeah, you do.
Oh, yeah.
She was at the baby show.
What you laughing for?
You push. Hold on, Nika, wait. Oh, there we go. So, Bernika's question was, thank you for your question, Nika. Why do men have so many double standards in a relationship, men or women in general? Example, he can have a female best friend, but I should cut my male best friend off. He can flirt with others and say it is harmless, but accuse me of being unfaithful if I do the same. Overlook your needs and desires, but insist that you pay attention to theirs. Become upset when feeling you aren't there for them, but let you down often and leave you feeling neglected. Men have casual sex and it's smiled upon. Women do it and she's a hoe. Disclaimer, not my personal situation currently.
Feminist.
Gotta throw that out there.
All right.
Let people know.
She dumb. She just dumb.
Grass Lil Kim, she addressed that. Can't hold us down. Featuring Christina Aguilera.
In my opinion, and in my experience, I've learned that people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So, it's not really a double standard. It's their standard that you're affirming.
And we all know that let me be politically correct. Cisgender heterosexual males
like
don't have it
cisgender.
all, okay? Cisgender heterosexual males, they don't know, they're too caught up in what I would say appearance, but they're too caught up into what masculinity, femininity, and what it consists of, and what you're allotted to do in each of those spaces. You know, you can't occupy both of those spaces. They're for that cisgender person, you know, what you were born as, you know. That's how they look at life. That's just that, okay? That's all I have to say about that.
That's how they look on life. And a lot of women haven't really been taught self-esteem. To have a sense of self-esteem, and they need a lot of validation. If you dealing with somebody who puts you through all of this, you don't need to be dealing with them. I thought we learned that like when did we graduate? 2000.
You graduated, what, high school 12 years ago?
That's just not a healthy relationship anyway.
It was. It was 12 years ago. Don't say it out loud. It's just 12 years ago. You graduated same year. So, what you saying?
That's just not a healthy relationship. Being with somebody that just feel like they entitled to all this stuff and you can't do anything. It's like, why would you even want to be with someone like that?
First of all, if that's a
That
space,
should be a partner.
yeah, if that's a space that you're occupying in which you're uncomfortable, and if it's not changing, leave it. I'm tired of people saying, well, you know, he's just gonna have to learn. No, leave.
Yeah.
That's what they require.
pretty sure he showed you those signs before it got as far as
Before, yeah.
way before y'all got where y'all are now.
That's
So shame on you, Bernica.
and that's a lack of respect. That's a disrespectful individual right there.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I couldn't even imagine half of this stuff. Dummy. But I hope we answered your question, kinda.
Next
But let's
question.
get into your question.
Why do people have such a hard time letting go people when they say they don't want them, or when people don't want to be with you anymore? I don't care how far the relationship goes. Sometimes when you're in love, if you're dating someone, you should not be dating anyone that you don't feel like is cognitively aware of what they want, how they feel, and where they see you or in their life, and how you fit in their life. So if you're dating someone who can do those things, which you should, and they feel like, or they get to a point in which they feel you no longer fit what I want or what I need, and I think that it's best that we separate, and I don't agree with you. Why do you fight that? Why do you beg to stay, or why do you do so much to be around so much? Why are you grieving so hard about that? Why can't you respect that their decision, or why can't you allow time, if it needs that, to mend that and bring y'all back together? Why do y'all stay around? Y'all not know y'all self-worth?
I think a lot of people have an issue with story, and the story that they told themselves in their head, or the story that they bought. And when you buy into a story or fairy tale, as they would call it, it's kind of hard to let go or to mourn that, because it's really like a death.
Exactly.
So it's kind of hard to let go of that.
Yeah.
But if you have a good sense of self, a good knowledge of self, and a good bit of respect for yourself, it should be easy for you to choose yourself over some fantasy that you created in your head.
Right.
Well, you getting that, girl.
Yeah.
She hit it.
Because I know
Exactly what it is.
a lot of people say that it's so much easier said than done. It is and it isn't. I feel like, because my mother always told me, and I had to experience it one time, once or twice. I'm still really young. I got a lot of. I'm 22.
You are wise
I'm
beyond your age.
22. But I've
Or
experienced
years,
things.
whatever old people like.
Yeah. But I feel like, at the end of the day, my mother always said, you don't want nobody that don't want you. The feeling of trying to get someone's attention that already said that they don't want you, I think is so much worse than grieving somebody or not being with someone that don't want to be with you. But actually, I feel like you make a fool of yourself.
But what I will say to that is, I feel like people have to go through their own process.
Yeah.
So if it takes for you, some people it takes for them to look a fool and feel like a fool, for them to burn that memory into their head so that they never call this person again.
And another thing is, like, you have already moved on. That person hasn't moved on yet. They don't feel the same way. Like, you might already be over them on to the next, but they still like, well, dang, like, I actually love you, like, and then that's a friendship at that. So not only am I losing you as, like, my partner, but I'm losing a friend as well. So it may be a lot harder for me to move on. I wasn't ready. So that's why they stick around. Like, maybe I could change myself. Maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe I can change. Let me show you.
Do you think that has something to do with loving people more than you love yourself?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking here now, I'm just like, maybe I don't think I love nobody that damn much, because I really feel like I love me so much that I can't even allow me to act like that. Like, I really can't. Like, I can't see me being like that for nobody but me.
I used to say, I said the same thing. Like, it was so hard for me to break up with myself. Because I was real good to me.
Yeah.
I'm real good to me, still to this day. But you have to kind of break up with yourself a little in order to allow room for somebody else. Otherwise, you just won't give a fuck. So you do kind of have to, like, when you go through that single phase of learning yourself, you're dating yourself, you're loving on you. It's kind of hard to kind of slow that down to
you can do everything for yourself. Like, I don't necessarily need you.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's always in the back.
You don't.
Back of your head.
No, it ain't, you don't necessarily.
You don't.
You
You're right.
don't.
You don't.
No,
You don't.
you do. You do. Yes, you do. Maybe not anything financially, but you do have to become vulnerable, and in becoming vulnerable, there's sort of a need that's created there. I don't think it should ever be like too overly dependent to where you looking to this person for everything.
Right.
But to have in my opinion, an effective relationship, there has to be some sort of vulnerability where I can feel like as if I need you for certain things. Not like I'm gonna die, but I would prefer if you did this for me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. But letting the motherfucker go. I ain't never really one time, but I was dumb. I ain't never better. But once I learned that lesson,
And I'm not gonna say.
it took me a long time to hide it.
And let me explain that, y'all. I'm not coming from a place to where I've never done it. I did it, and I look back, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, this person is treating me like this now. And you're like, well, why are you doing this to me? You weren't like this before. And you had that, because then they wanted you, and now they don't. That's what the difference is. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and you're gonna, and you pushing yourself and forcing yourself on someone that don't make, when you should, it's making yourself a fool, and it's making them not want you even more. It's not gonna change their mind.
But go through it. Go through it. 'Cause
It pours the cement down.
you know what? But that's how people get done. That's how they get finished. Because sometimes things happen that cause situations where somebody's done with you before you actually done with them.
Yep.
And you had no clue that we was done. Like, say you in love with somebody and then they automatically catch a murder charge, and now they gotta go to jail. They was done with you before you was done with them, but now you should be done. But in some cases, it's kind of hard to. Bitch, I be done.
Maybe
I'll
that's.
be done.
But
Like,
see-
we be in court, you like, you go home down? No, see, because I was done with you before you was done with me. You know, when that happened,
Yeah.
we was done. That was done.
I feel like, you know, people be ignoring, either be so oblivious to the signs in which you're done, or, because I feel like, can people, that's the next thing I want to get into. Communication. I feel, are you guys not communicating, or are you not comprehending what they're saying to you? You know what I'm saying? Are they telling you that they done verbally and you're not getting it? Or are they showing you with their actions that they done with you and you're not catching it? Or is it a little bit of both? And you just can't let go?
I think it's all of that. It's all of that. Especially when you throw love in there, that's a whole nother element right there. Like, oh, you love somebody, like I love you, like why would you want to break up with me? Like, no, we don't fix it. We're gonna fix this. That's how people be.
We like love and we love love. Love don't love no damn body.
See, that's why I don't believe in falling in love. I ask for permission to love people. So that whenever they break that contract, I'm be like, but you told me I could love you now. Don't be trying to tell me I can't.
Right.
I asked you
Right.
for permission. I asked you if this was okay. I asked you how you felt about this. Because I've been in a situation where I chose to love somebody without their permission, and then it went bad for me. So no, I don't do that. I ask you for permission. You're supposed to take heed. Think about that thing. Because I love a little different.
I have something really important that I feel like we need to talk about.
That's about to be good. Alright.
So I was hanging with somebody.
You gotta be louder than that.
I was hanging with somebody the other day. My girl and someone that I still find, I'm very fond of this person.
They're attractive.
And they're attractive to me as well. Fun. I just take out my haircut right now. My haircut expired, y'all. But yeah, so basically we got dealings before. But hey Malik, what's up,
Hey, Mr.
boo?
Cobain.
Ask me to join. So basically, you know, we're having great conversations and things like that. But it's like, you know, they wanted to hang out. But I'm like, you know, this is still new. And I feel like we've got a long way through the night. But I feel like, you know, for clarity, for me, I asked this question. I said, wait. I asked, this interest you have in me, is it friendly? Is it friendship based? Is it sexual? Or do you want to get to know me? Or you don't know? I don't know why you don't know what it is.
That's a good question though.
But and they were appalled, they stopped, they looked, and they started to think about it. And they were just like, I don't know. And I said, you know what, I don't think I don't know is a good answer. It's not gonna work. And I realized I don't like that. I hate I don't know. That's something I don't even know why I do that in it. But their response was more so it was like a combination of both. But they started saying things like, well, you know, I don't think that I'm not what you think that I am, and I'm not what you want. I know that you may want something, you know, and I'm not gonna give you that. And I'm like,
So you just told me what you want.
but no. What is it that you feel like you are that I don't like, and what makes you think that I want that? What makes you think that I want you in that way? You know, so that's another part. So I said, please elaborate. What is it that you? I'm secluded, and you know, sometimes I just be in my way, and I don't feel like talking. One, I'm very much so like that. Two, what makes you think that I want to talk to you every day? You know what I'm saying? Where are you getting these from? Why are you making these assumptions? We never had any kind of conversation like that. What kind of energy are you getting that you're making these assumptions? So then I see like, well, no, I'm just like, you know, I feel like I want to cuddle and I want to do such and such and such, but sometimes I'm not gonna follow up after that. And I feel like, you know, I'm being always viewed as a predator.
Because you are.
But I asked, I said, well, do you state your intentions? No. I said, well, that's why. I said, one, I said a lot of people, you need to state your intentions with people sometimes when you do things like this, you know, or when you're dealing with people, because, you know, you need to.
That's the reality.
No, you need to talk to, as dating as an adult, you need to let people know, I'm not looking for a relationship, but these are the things that I'm willing to do. And there's nothing going to be attached to this. It's going to be in the same type of situation. And then with me, I feel like, because everyone's not like me, I'm not going to wait around for you to have that conversation with me. I'm going to ask you. Because I'm the type of person where I state my intentions. So when you're initiating a conversation with me and you don't initiate that conversation, or you know, why you trying to hang out with me, I'm going to initiate. You know what I'm saying? But why are we assuming that we know what people want and what we can't do for people? You know what I'm saying?
Why do we make that assumption?
Yeah, why do we say, I'm a bad guy and I'm not the one for you, I can't give you what you want? I've never stated to you what I wanted and what I needed.
That's a nice way of saying I want to manipulate you into having sex with me, but I want to come off like I'm actually interested in who you are.
But the thing
So
is,
it's game.
It's game, but it's game. But if you trying to school somebody that already know the game, but the thing is, you trying to manipulate me into doing something that I may already want to do.
Yes.
So stop assuming that that's not what I'm here for, because I'm not here for that. I'm not here for, you not here for a relationship, me either.
Yeah, but that's what I've learned a lot about males and guys is that guys operate off trial and error, whereas women, we operate based off a moment and how we feel in that moment. And guys operating off of trial and error make them approach every situation the same. Until they realize, oh, what I'm trained to do or what I've been doing is not going to work for this particular situation. So now I have to figure out something, which is normally when they look like, when they have that dumb moment, where they actually have to think. Because I realized you guys really have blank space. I don't know nothing about blank space.
I don't have blank space.
Well, you more in tune with who you are. But a lot of guys have blank space because they're cut off from their other senses.
Yeah.
So they have a whole bunch of blank space. So they don't their thoughts and their, what is it called? Is it synapse? It's not clicking. It's not connecting. It's not firing. These ideas are not being generated, which is why they say our mouths are smarter or quicker. When in actuality, no, it's just we've been allowed to use all of our senses, feelings, and emotions, so therefore everything connects.
Right.
And they approach situations the same way. So that little role that he pulled has been working for him until he met somebody like you.
Right.
Who gave him a trick question.
Right.
That's that.
And it got me because I thought it was a simple question. And it took me a minute to respond because I'm like, you should know. You didn't. Why did you call? Why did you ask to hang out? You know what I'm saying? Like,
you didn't know what you wanted to do with me.
You know,
you
so,
knew what you wanted to do with me. You just thought the way in which you were gonna get there was gonna be a whole lot less complicated.
But I must have threw a curveball in there. But I said, you don't take anything from any of the things that we spoke about tonight. Take this. I didn't know I left like I was a teacher. I said, state your intentions and stop trying to tell people what you think they're going to hear. You know, state your intentions and be very honest, and you will always see that you're not going to be casted as a predator, and you're probably going to leave with your conscience clear and exactly with what you went in there for. Two, stop assuming, because what you very much may want is very much so what I want. You know what I'm saying? Don't think
You talked yourself out of this. I was
Yeah.
ready. I was ready.
Hey, Tori.
Okay, so did you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up? I think that was a really good story.
Yeah.
Stop being broke.
Stop being
Spend all your money on stuff that y'all don't need.
That's so hard though.
so hard.
It's so hard.
I just want to do hood rat things with my friends.
Hood rat. With my hood rat friend.
I want to have fun.
Yeah.
All y'all got new clothes. Talking about y'all labels and what y'all bought from such and such and such and such. And y'all sleeping on such and such couch. Stop it.
Yeah.
That ain't cute.
Yeah.
Unless,
All these clothes are not a closet to put in. That's what I'm saying. We always talk about not a pot to fit in. All these clothes and you ain't got no closet. Give it up.
But I want to thank you guys for tuning into the According to Who podcast. Make sure you follow Malik. I'm not Malik. Make sure you follow Malik. He's not
Malik
here.
Cobain.
Malik Cobain.
MALIK.
You know the rest?
COBAAI.
Alright. And make sure you follow Krishan at
_VMVNI.
and to my left, make sure you follow Kiara at
Hot Glam Girl.
Alright. And follow me, Pincheck724 on Twitter, StrikeOutENT on Instagram, and According to Who on Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in to According to Who. Welcome to Atlanta. You gotta go cut the shit off. I mean, cut the thing off.
Nah. You want to apologize for
For
any
all of the